awaydaysbeer.com. Proud to partner with Talking Town. For only $14.99, grab your ITFC Legends Pack from The Beat to Hoppy Robson to Brazil's Best and Pablo's Pal. Whatever you need, whatever you want. ITFC Legends Pack, $14.99 at awaydaysbeer.com. Grab it today. Mass Creations are proud partners of Talking Town. High quality web and software development. From web development to SEO and everything in between, make your vision a reality with Mass Creations. Call 07896 904 571 or visit masscreations.co.uk or email info@masscreations.co.uk. Mass Creations, proud partners of Talking Town. Don't forget, tell them you came from Talking Town to get 10% off. Best Burger in Stowmarket, proud partners of Talking Town. Call 01449 680 058 to book a table today. Support for Talking Town is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Hold up, fellas. I don't think we've quite understood what I'm talking about here. We've gone years in the UK without using the right tools for the job. Long gone are the days of a razor blade in the mirror. No more shall we look like Sideshow Bob down there. Manscaped have redesigned the electric trimmer. Their engineering team have perfected the greatest ball hair trimmer ever created and have just released the new and improved Lawnmower 3.0 in the UK. Their third generation trimmer features a cutting edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents because nobody wants a bloodbath in the bathroom. Did I tell you it's got waterproof technology so you can dim those lights, get yourself in the shower and groom to your heart's content? Whatever you do, however you do it with Manscaped's Lawnmower 3.0 and don't forget you can get 20% off and free delivery with the code TT. Manscaped.com. Make your testies their besties.
Hello and welcome to Portman Road. This sound indicates an important announcement.
Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to Talking Town's Extra Time, the show that puts you firmly in control, either through the live chat or by coming on the show itself by using the live link. I can see all my contributors now waiting in the VIP room, so I thought let's get cracking. There's lots to discuss, mostly rumours, mostly would-we likes, but of course we've got a few things that are concrete, which I'm really looking forward to getting the gang's thoughts on. But first of all, a few comments coming in. Got Mike Baker, evening all. What have I missed since I've been off the grid? Healing, Mike. I hope you are really well, my man. Just take good care of yourself. You missed Amy. on a Hindu live. It was quite funny. She was passionate about away games, but then when isn't our Amy? Colin Plummet in the room. Michael Finch, welcome in. Stephen Parry, DJ Gov, absolutely. Look, we've got a competition, well, several competitions actually running at the moment across the platform. But the big one I want to talk to you about right now is the Ipswich Town home and away shirt that you could win. We are still doing that. How do you win it? I hear you ask. Well, all you got to do is just subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's what you got to do. And we are closing out very soon. We'll do a draw. I'll probably do a live draw of over 2,500 subscribers. We all go into a hat. If you come out first, you win the shirt. Your choice, home or away. That'll be closing very soon. Our second one is our European Championship. It was Fearsome 4, but as we're getting on towards the end of the tournament, it's now Fearsome 2, the semi-finals. I will be dropping the live link in this chat very soon. So if you're watching it back, look for that. If you're watching it live, get ready to copy and paste it into your favorite web browser. We are closing in on the competition climax, and it's very, very tight at the top of that table. I will be getting the league table on the screen very soon, at some point through this show, when we come to give the link. So keep your eyes peeled. First of all, we've mentioned her already. Let's get her in. Is of course she's dubbed the Queen of Hearts, but over the weekend she was probably the Queen of the Jaeger train. Amy Downs, how was your Hindu?
Absolutely amazing. Thank you. I saw two of my really good Ipswich fan friends who I haven't seen since February 2019 came up to celebrate with me, and we had a bloody wonderful time. And obviously partway during last week, we found out that Saturday was going to be taken over completely by the game. So I had to ring the pub and bump our booking for dinner forward by an hour or two so we could get up to the pub and then come back down for the football. So I had a very girly afternoon and then turned into a proper football hooligan from 8 p.m. onwards.
Michael Finch, she was pissed as a fart. She really was. She was very passionate about her away games. But you had a fantastic weekend. Do you remember a lot of it, or do you remember all of it, some of it, none of it? Where were you?
The weekend loads. The game itself, barely any. I just remember really enjoying watching it, and I remember thinking, I cannot wait to be doing this on the terraces. I can't wait to actually properly be back. And I remember jumping on my sisters every time we scored. It was just like all six of us just rising with that feeling of yes, and then it was, oh my god, we've scored again and again, and it was
euphoria. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't believe you remember it though.
I remember the goals, but I don't remember a lot else. But then I was sort of toing and froing a lot and going and getting food and drinks and more drinks. And
you didn't drink enough, Amy. You didn't drink enough.
Evidently not.
I mean, I had a stag weekend in Brussels, and I kid you not, I remember stepping foot off the Eurostar onto Belgium territory. And I remember stepping back off the Eurostar onto English territory. The bit in between, I couldn't tell you what was going on. Honestly, I don't remember a single thing of it. It was the best weekend of my life.
That's how it's supposed to be, isn't it?
3 days drinking top quality Belgian beer. But yeah, I don't remember any of it. But I pull out memories, actually. So yesterday we had Marcus Stewart on the show, a really good special, in-depth, hour and 25 minutes. He really is such a good guy. Have you ever spent time with Marcus?
Oh, gosh, no, I wish I had. I wish I'd had the opportunity to, but it's always heard good things about him from when I was working down in that area. There's a lot of people that really liked him. Seems like a nice guy.
Well, you never know. Keep your eyes peeled for something in the future, maybe. But yesterday, I was saying yesterday, and I said to a couple of friends, because they said, how did it go? I said, just amazing, just one of the best. And I think as Town fans, we've all got a Marcus Stewart moment, which is quite special to us in our own way, or whatever it might be. It could be a random goal there, or a moment, the gloves, whatever it is. I think we've all got one. What is your Marcus Stewart moment? I ask you now.
It's probably a bit of an easy one, but I'd say it's his goal at Wembley. I just think it's one of the best goals I've ever seen in football. The way him and Richard Naylor link up. It's him, Richard Naylor and Jamie Clapham. It's beautiful. I could watch it again and again. And it was just sort of symptomatic, if that's the right word, of him. That's exactly what he did, wasn't it? It was that quality. It was the way he slotted into the team. And I think to other semi-finals, I wasn't at the away leg, but I will never ever forget. That was the Marcus Stewart show, wasn't it? The second leg. So no, that was first leg, wasn't it? So for me, it was probably a bit easier, a bit of an easy answer, but definitely the playoffs.
No, that thing is, that I think I'd be many people's, but for many different reasons. Do you know what I mean? And just yesterday's playoff goal came up, and actually that goal was a result. Marcus was telling us of just team chemistry and playing with Jamie, and him telling Jamie many months, maybe years before, saying, "Look, if you get that 5 seconds to put a ball in a box, just do it." So when you see that movement for the goal, which is absolutely sublime, it's because he knows that ball is coming in straight away. And I just could be thinking about changing the team consistently, because I know Burnley would love to play a strong team in a cup. I know that year, the Premier League year, actually, the following year, we played Morecambe in the FA Cup, and you had Matt Arnold and Marcus Stewart running around the place, and it was like, this is crazy. You'd never get that in many years now. But you don't develop chemistry necessarily, do you, without playing games with each other?
Yeah, totally agree. I was just about to say exactly the same thing. That's one of the things that really frustrates me about the managers that we have had more recently. The best manager in my lifetime kept that consistency, and because he did, that team was the best team in my lifetime, and it was always the best thing about that team was the chemistry and the way they played together. And we just haven't had the opportunity to have that probably for 10, 15, other than the 2015 team. We just haven't had that team that have been consistent together.
Dog agrees.
Obviously.
Definitely agrees. There's balloons in the corner of the room because it's somebody's birthday tomorrow.
Is it?
It is. It's the wife's birthday tomorrow. And he's decided now, of all times, to suddenly pay attention to them. They've been there all day, and but as it's not the wife, the wife's actually cleaning the floor, washing the floor in the kitchen, so she can't come through and pull him through like she normally does. But he'll hopefully will calm down in a second. Stephen Parry, with a small squad that might be here now. Yeah, the small squads are coming. Michael Finch can't wait till August the 7th. Yes, I can't. We'll come to that very shortly. But joining us on our panel is our, no filter, Yorkshire V. For the new season, there will be an intro for this lady because she thoroughly deserves it. Victoria Henderson, how are you doing?
Hi, everybody. Yeah, I'm doing really good. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. We couldn't get you logged in, which is why we were having the extended intro before we came onto the camera.
It's all my fault. User error.
It's okay. It's fine. We've got it sorted. You're here now. Marcus Stewart, we're talking about him just to kick off the show after yesterday's interview. Have you got a moment from Marcus that springs to mind for you?
It's the same as Amy, to be honest. It was the playoffs and then, Wembley. It was at that point that I just wanted his children. That's all.
Well, you're funny you should say that, because yesterday on the show, it was a real tussle between myself, Kate Riley, and the Cruncher as to who had the biggest crush. Kate admitted she had the crush, but I mean, secretly, I was inside, goes, I love you, Marcus. Just, I love you. Just humble to have him on my show, and
and he hasn't aged, has he?
No, he bloody hasn't.
What's that all about?
It's the gloves. Keep your hands warm. Your face stays young forever. Apparently, I don't know, but yeah, you're right. He has not aged. We've got Lee. Hi, Amy. Hi, Vicky. Good evening, Vicky. Says Stephen Parry. So big news today coming from our Prime Minister, which of course means it's a knock-on effect for football. Stadium capacity limit to be lifted. We are all allowed back to the football. Amy, you were kicking off on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever day it might have been about this. How are you feeling? Sat here Monday. We're allowed back. We're going home.
As I always am with bloody Boris. I'm excited for everybody else, but I'm concerned that by the time I get to a game in October, everything will have gone tits up and they'll have had to go back to restrictions again. But I am very, very happy, and seeing everybody tweeting today about going home and pictures of their favourite moments at Portman Road and things like that. Just there's I can't think what that banner was, that there is light or something.
There is light
Gosh,
at the end of the tunnel. Yeah,
that's
that
it,
one.
and it just felt perfect for today. So yeah, we're there. I definitely think I'll be able to get to go to a game at some point this year, won't I? So fingers crossed it'll be as early as we're all hoping. But I do.
You were kicking off on Saturday about getting to a game. What if you can remember? What was your argument Saturday? Because I couldn't make head nor tail of what you were trying to say.
My worry is, as a non-season ticket holder, if they're restricting the numbers for away games, for away fans, I'm not going to get to go. Actually, I know people, so I probably will be able to go. But I think that's the thing. It's if you've got mates, you might be able to pinch a number. But if you don't, like my dad, for example, lives blooming miles away, but he might actually, Plymouth will be a perfect one for him, but he doesn't have, the people that like my little crew that I can use. But of course he will be able to use that. But that was my worry, is that if the restrictions on numbers are there, that I wouldn't be able to go because I'm not a season ticket holder. And it isn't just about me, it's about those of us who live miles away, particularly as it isn't. It was
all about her on Saturday night. Don't listen to her, Vic. It was all about her on Saturday night. It was all about what she couldn't do.
Listen to Boris. Well, I didn't listen to Boris. I told my sisters to message me at the end of it so that I didn't have to sit through him. But I was more bothered about, like, when it said about sporting venues, I was like, yes. And then I thought afterwards, I was like, oh, actually, hang on, what are the rules for the wedding? Like, actually, I ought to check that one first, shouldn't I?
Get your priorities right.
Should have been listening.
Yeah, that's true.
I actually thought, Amy, you were worried about us being really good and season ticket holders wanting to go to every away game because we were winning, Vicky, and knocking teams out of the park. And obviously you guys and girls up north and various parts of the country not able to get away tickets because they were being gobbled up within minutes. Is that a fear for you, Vicky, looking at the transfers coming in or rumours coming in? Are you worried that we're going to be, smashing teams out of the park?
I'm not worried that I won't get tickets.
No.
Because I can't see us taking 10,000 to Accrington Stanley. I just can't see it. So,
but it's a cracking away day.
I've been. If I don't. I will try, obviously, for all the ones that I can get to, get back to Portman Road when I can. So that's all just exciting. Whether we will smash it out the park straight away, I'm not sure. We've got to gel as a team first, and that might take a few weeks. I'm not worried. I think the end result will be that we will smash it, but maybe not the first few weeks. Don't know.
Yeah.
We do have on Twitter, we've got a little group of us who are based here in Leeds and Yorkshire, and we have had a couple of conversations about should we be getting silver memberships and who's going to pay for that. And there's actually Mrs. Nuts on Twitter. She's actually bought a season ticket. I have a friend who lives in Chester who has bought a season ticket pretty much for that reason, because he wants to make sure he can get to, and if it's playoffs at the end of the year or whatever, you want to make sure that you can get to those games, which I've always said that the season ticket holders should have priority. Of course you should, but it does make it a little bit scary for those of us who can't have one.
Are you getting a silver membership?
No, I decided against it because I've got mates that will probably be able to get me tickets. So I think I'll be all right. I've got a friend of mine whose parents have season ticket holders but don't go to away games. So I'm usually all right. There's usually someone who messages me very kindly and says, "Oh, Amy, use my number for." Actually, the day the season ticket, the fixtures came out, my mate who lives in Chester messaged me straight away and said, "You can have the Cambridge ticket, like no question, you can have that," because he knows how important that one is to me. So that's the thing with our community. People will step in, people will make sure that you can go. Like, you look at tickets being given away on the Ipswich forum on the day where it's like, does anyone want to use my ticket, or can anyone help me get hold of a ticket? And people will step in and look after each other. So I am very lucky with that, but it's a worry in the back of my mind, but we'll see how it all pans out. Because I do think Vicky has a point though. I think Morecambe away is going to be mega. I can't wait for that one. But I think ones like Rotherham and stuff like that, they're not special. I love them. Rotherham away is probably my favourite, but it's not. Doncaster as well. We've done them before, so hopefully those ones will be okay. It's just Morecambe, Cambridge. There's a few others. Sunderland is always very popular as well, so we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounds like there aren't going to be any restrictions. So
well, no, this is it. Yeah, absolutely. Hearing that, Vicky, just to get your opinion before we move on to the next topic. No restrictions at football stadiums. What does that mean to yourself?
Oh, I can't wait to be back. I just can't wait. I mean, I do work shifts, so I can't get to every game, which is why I don't get a season ticket. It's just not feasible and practical for me. But I have got the membership, and I will get to as many games as humanly possible. I have missed it so much.
Good stuff. Good to hear. And our first got a question here from Paragon. Do you think the Selena return will happen? That's picked up speed or pace over the last couple of days. I know, someone spoke to a source very close to the situation. But where are you two on it? Do you think it's going to happen? I'll ask Vicky first. Do you think Selena return?
I would love it. I loved him when he was with us, and I was really gutted that we didn't sign him permanently. Mm-hmm. So for me, if we could get him, I'd love it. I really would. 100%. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, he obviously got a fantastic goal against a Yorkshire-based team in Leeds when he was here on loan. I still remember that. Amy, Selena returned. Do you think it's going to happen? He goes on to say, Paragon, or she does, maybe they're looking at Selena as our Drogba statement signing.
I just feel like it's a bit of a weird one, a bit of a weird link. I don't understand where it's come from. Well, I mean, he played for us in the Championship, didn't he? I'll be honest, I don't know what he did afterwards. I mean, where was he playing last year?
He's playing in France. Playing in France with, sorry?
Isn't it Dijon he's with?
That's correct, yeah. And they just got relegated. And to put a little bit of colour of meat on the bones, you've got the French leagues, which are in a little bit of disarray at the moment because of a TV deal that's gone a bit Pete Tong. A lot of clubs are facing financial loss. Particularly the ones that have been relegated, but twice as bad, if you like. They sold the TV rights to a company. That company went bankrupt. The original company, I think Canal 1, said we can't really do it at that price we were offering to start off with. We can do it at a less price. And then I think it's going to be sold to Amazon Prime in the end for a real dirt cheap price compared to what was on offer. So a lot of teams were told they could bank balance or plan for this. And you get nowhere. A bit like ITV Digital.
I was just thinking
nowhere near this. You can go for this instead. If I've read the Athletics article and story on it correctly, that's my thinking. So maybe with that knowledge, do you feel now it's a left field transfer, or do you think actually this is right in the wheelhouse and he's got knowledge of the club, the town, the leagues? Where are you now?
That's what I was just thinking. He's been here, hasn't he? And he was, like you say, he was well liked. He's certainly one of the better loan players we've had in recent years, wasn't he? He was the standout one for me, I think, possibly. Maybe him and Tom Lawrence, I think, were probably the best ones I can think of off the top of my head. But anyway, it's very exciting. I'm finding it really hard to get excited about new signings until they are actually over the door, because this time of year absolutely does my head in. Because you get people the trouble is you get a rumour around somebody signing and then they don't, and people whine that we haven't bought them, and we don't know whether it actually was a genuine link or not. So as Mr. Parry always says, until
this is genuine.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it is. It's just there's still a lot that could go wrong until it happens, isn't there? There's still a lot that could change. So I take a leaf out of Mr. Stephen Parry's book on this one. Until he's holding the Ipswich shirt, I'm just going to not spend any energy on it. And then I will definitely be very happy. I will be toasting that with a Jaeger if we sign him.
Absolutely. Will you be toasting the signing with anything, Vicky, if we do manage to get it over the line?
Well, I'm still not drinking. Well, I drunk at the weekend, I have to say, because that was just like you had to, and I suffered badly for the last 2 days, probably along the same lines as you, Amy. But if we do sign in, then it'll be good.
Okay,
I'm sorry, my husband's just thrown that at me, and I am going to smash his face in a minute.
Oh, get rid of it! Get rid of it! You two will be taking us down. They'll be pulling us off the internet. Right. Something else that's in the works, Matt Crooks. Apparently, we've had a second bid rejected. For Rotherham's Matt Crooks, this is a guy who's played in the Championship. Last week we offered 400,000. They've rejected it. They've said today in the Rotherham Advertiser, we've bid 500 to 600,000, and it's been rejected. Had a Rotherham fan on the show last week, Vicky, and he said, if you want Crooks, great player, will probably win your promotion that good. But you're going to have to pay over £1 million for him because a lot of Championship clubs will be interested. Is this Rotherham selling through the press and saying, hello, Championship clubs, you've got a bit of competition, hurry up? Or is it more, they want him gone as much as we want to buy him, and they're just trying to get the best price for him? What do you think is going on here?
I definitely think they're trying to get the best price, aren't they? They came out today and said, they'd rather sell to a Championship club than us. But as far as I'm aware, there's no Championship clubs after him at the moment. That might change, of course. But they clearly don't want to sell to a rival, do they?
No, they clearly don't, do they, Amy?
Which I think is absolutely fair enough. When I read the article, the Rotherham Advertiser earlier, I was like, they think we're taking the piss, and actually we kind of are. Like that's a low bid for someone who is tipped to be one of the best in the league, because he was in Player of the Year, Team of the Year, wasn't he, last year? So
yes.
It does feel like we're maybe testing the waters and pushing it a little bit. I take your point that there hasn't been any Championship interest yet, but the way I read that article was that we'd like to see him take a step up, but if he's not going out of League One, we've got no reason to let go of him. I think he's more valuable to them. For them, the better value is keeping him than getting money for him and selling him to us. So, which I totally understand personally. I mean, he does another one that seems really exciting, but I'll wait until it happens.
Yeah,
It depends how much they value £1 million, because we can.
Would you offer £1 million?
We can afford it.
Exactly.
Possibly.
Would you offer? Would you offer it, Vicky? Would you offer it, Vicky? If you were the woman in charge with the checkbook, would you be offering £1 million for Matt Crooks?
If he was the only person out there, but he isn't. Personally, I'd rather go for Charlie White from Sunderland.
Yeah. Okay. Fair point.
I would have him in a heartbeat and definitely pay that much money.
Mark Dallin said, I'll swap Downs for Crooks if he's that good. Rob Pulley, he'd be worth every penny, got to do it. Mr. Ipswich Town, who's got a fantastic thumbnail picture. I'd say it's hard to get excited because typically Ipswich's been linked with anyone and everyone, and nothing happening this time around is different. This feels different to like just plucking names out of a hat or whatever. Like we've had bids, and there's not the first article saying we've had a bid, and I do know we're interested. Like someone said before on your podcast, there's only a certain amount you can offer. If the deal is not right, move on. 1 million's a bit too much. Michael Finch will be linked with Mr. Blobby next. Dennis Edwards. Crooks only has 1 year left in his contract. Rotherham might end up getting nothing if they miscalculate. Or keep a very good player and possibly win promotion off the back of it, and he'll sign a new deal. I do feel, Amy, if they're waiting on Borough and Preston, as the advertiser kind of suggested in the article, that could drag on this transfer, because most Championship clubs like to get rid of a player before bringing somebody else in, and there's different. It's like buying a house; you've got to have certain bits of the chain line up perfectly. If that's the case, is this a deal? It's going to sort of run, or do you ever see a point where we go, right, we'll park it and we'll go elsewhere, similar to what we did with some of our other transfers in this window so far, like the goalkeeper. We're all in on Cigarette, or that was the reports, and then suddenly within 24 hours it's gone. We're not going there. We're going Heladki instead. Yeah,
we've been we've had fairly good direction, haven't we? Whereas normally we're running around like headless chickens or doing absolutely bugger all until right at the end of July. There was a comment that just popped up about basically offer our best price, and if they say no, fair enough, the deal's not right, we move on. And I totally take that, because you don't want to be wasting time on him if they are messing us around and trying to get Championship interest out of this transfer. If they are, let's not let them take the mickey out of us, but equally have a bit of respect for the lad and don't take the mickey off for what you're willing to pay. would be but then I'm not a very good businesswoman, so maybe I don't know anything.
Well, fair point there, Vicky. But then is it a lot like buying a house where you don't go in with the asking price straight away? Because if you go in with the asking price, they might go, well, we want a bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. You start low, don't you? You can't start high, because if you start high,
Nowhere to go.
Exactly. Well, there is up.
Yeah.
But if you start lower, then they know we've got interest in him. And I believe in Mike Ashton. It is Mike Ashton, isn't it? Yeah.
It certainly is.
He'll negotiate. And if it's not right, we walk away, and that's fine.
Yeah, and I've got full trust in this operation, Vicky, to say, like the goalkeeper, if you know what, we've got somebody else in mind now, and that's become available, and we want to run with that, don't you?
I think that Paul Cook's given them a list, and they will just go and try and get the best deals on that list, and some will work, and some we won't get. But like Amy, I can't get excited about possibles until they're actually holding an Ipswich shirt, and that's when I'll get excited.
So where do you both still think sort of we're a bit short? You've got news on the centre half in terms of Gibson being linked, that's edging closer, but you've got another right winger being linked again this afternoon. But where do you as a fan, seeing the transfer coming in and whatnot, where do you both still think is a real position of need? If Morecambe was tomorrow, we'd be in big dire straits. Amy, you want to go first on that?
For me, I'm still nervous about goals. And I feel like, as much as I actually quite like Norse and felt like he was coming into his own towards the end of the year, I don't feel like relying on him is the way forward. And I just think we need a Daryl Murphy. That's what we need, and we haven't got that. And that's making me nervous. The one thing I wanted to go into the season with is a burly striker who's just going to take the game by the horns and control it, which Norse is intimidating, and he's all right. He's all right at what he does, but I just feel like we need a Daryl Murphy, really, like just a goal poacher, I suppose. And I don't feel happy with Norse being pretty much the only striker there, I think. So that's still making me nervous. But also,
you've got Macaulay Bond.
Oh gosh, that's true. He looks really exciting. That is true. But I still feel like we just need maybe one with a bit more experience. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, Vicky, where for you is a position of desperate dire need if you started the season tomorrow?
I'd like a striker, a proven striker, because I think Bone, whilst he's good, his stats aren't brilliant, are they? I think he's got.
That's fair.
A few assists and a few goals, but it's nothing that's setting the world on fire. And I want somebody to go in there and bang goals in every single game, every single week. Yeah. And Norwood is still injury prone for me. He's still at an age where he's going to get every knock, and he does bang some in. But I need somebody who's proven. Definitely.
Yeah, I think fans up and down the country, not just for our club, for every club, I think feel the same. I think even from the top team to the worst team that they have, from Man United downwards, every fan wants that proven goal scorer coming in because goals excite you, goals make you get off your seat, and goals win you games and points and prizes. And you never can have enough 20-goal a season strikers in your books. That makes sense.
The thing is, Martin, if we would have scored more goals last season, we would have been in the playoffs.
Yeah, it
was the lack of goals that stopped us being promoted. Yep. It's a poor league, and if you can get somebody who's going to put goals in, you're halfway there.
Yeah, no, you are. Yeah, particularly if you can keep clean sheets like we did last year. Particularly, one goal even per game for a lot of the games would have done you 3 points. I saw too many 0-0s. Mark Girling, marquee striker like Marcus Bent. Rob Pooley wants an experienced centre half, as does Lee Anderson again, and as does Dennis Edward. To be fair, he wants both. An experienced striker and centre half, which is a minimum. Yeah, I think both positions are looking a little bit threadbare at the moment. Paragon asks, is Gibson a permanent or a loan? Both clubs are sort of thrashing that out at the moment, if you like. If a good deal can be reached, it could be a permanent. If you asked me to put a bet on, I'd hedge towards a permanent, but that's not anything concrete or inside info or anything like that. That's just my personal looking at him as a young player, not got long to run in his contract. we're in the interest now or business now of picking up those sort of players to develop or sell or both, and it screams a sort of Moneyball signing, doesn't it? Really, Amy. Gibson, young Prem player that hasn't really set roots anywhere. But I think he made 7 starts last year for Reading. Got talent. Nobody's arguing that. Get him here. Let's a bit like Raheem Harper. Get him here and let's see what we can get out of him. Yeah.
Absolutely, it's game time, isn't it? It's consistent game time. That's the most important thing. It's a little bit sad to think, oh, how long will they be with us? Like the next sort of Tyrone Mings, aren't they? They'll come and get their game time with us, and then they'll move on to bigger and better things, and hopefully, and we'll be very proud of them. But it's also a little bit sad when we then lose our best players because they then take that step up without us. But who knows? They might be taking the step up with us to the Championship.
But when you consider that Tyrone Mings, and that's almost the ideal situation you want. You buy a player for 10,000, you sell him for all that money. But when he went, Vicky, he left us, and we were on the verge of good things ourselves. We got Brett Pittman and Fraser on loan as part of a £7 million deal. We had just come off a good playoff season. We were supposed to be taking the next step ourselves in the 12 to 48 months afterwards. Instead, it went completely the other way. But yeah, I suppose Amy's spot on there. You hope you're left with better things, aren't you?
There's no guarantees, is there?
No.
Even with a better squad. But what we can offer players is we are a big club. We're going to be able to pay their wages, and we are promising them good things. There is in the future. There's this hope that we're going to get back to the Championship and beyond. That's what we're being sold. So if you're a player that's not on a great deal of money, so if you go back to Crooks, we're offering him double his wages with the possibility of going to the Championship next year. And that's not a bad deal, is it? You're going to not think twice about that, are you? You're going to think, well, double wages, what am I losing?
And reports are that we are paying good wages. I mean, you've had managers in the press, sort of, the not mentioning town by name, but the subtle, sly indirectness of it. You're almost like just at us next time. It would be easy for you. Paying Championship wages in some respects. I think Sonny Bradley was the case in point. Went to stayed at Luton in the end, but we are, showing ambition, which is exciting stuff. But it's, as you say, it's until it's done, it's done. But it's exciting to see these names and see these transfers and hear that we're having bids turned down for players.
Yes,
which is just fucking bizarre. If you, quite frankly, the Ipswich Town Football Club, let's put this into context. The last time in the Premier League, I was like 12, maybe 13. From there, we've had administration, we've had a few good years, Marcus Evans, and then we've had 13 years. I'm 13 years out of practice on my football club putting bids in for players. I'm not quite sure how it works anymore. How does this work? You put a bid in for a player that somebody else wants and you wait to see? Like, what's going on? It's that new territory, isn't it, Amy?
Yeah.
It's exciting, isn't it? When you think how we were feeling this time 12 months ago, it's just bonkers to now be feeling like actually we really could. It could actually be different this year. It's not. Of course, it could all go tits out. But it could actually, this could be the start of the new story. This could be the start of us being on the up. Whereas when we were under Evans, it was every summer was the same, and you just didn't feel like anything would change because his tactics never changed. Whereas they've changed their approach, and that was what we needed. So yes, it is nice.
We had loads of loan players as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
Whereas these players that we've got so far, apart from one, they're all ours. So they're buying into the same buying that we are. They've been sold a story. So I can't wait to get going. I think it's exciting stuff.
Absolutely. And talking about where we were this time 18 months ago and etc. Vicky, the branding for our once beloved owner is being ripped off the wall. You're not short of things to say. Neither of you are, to be honest with you. But what have you got to say about reading the news today? I think one or two press outlets ran with it. I don't remember seeing it, but I think they did. Marcus Evans.
I will nearly quote a fast food restaurant again, and I am fucking loving it.
quite the kid-friendly advertising they go for, is it? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm fucking loving it. With your carrot stick bag.
Why not?
Absolutely. I'm sure you agree, Amy.
Absolutely, I think that's the perfect catchphrase for both them and what happened today. I reckon that was it was very much the end of an era, wasn't it? Seeing that come, because I almost vaguely recall as well when it went up, we felt a bit almost uncomfortable because there was that bit of nervousness about Marcus Evans sort of becoming Ipswich Town, and we weren't really sure because that's not the Ipswich Town way of doing things, but. I don't even know if that makes sense what I just said, but I remember feeling a bit like, oh God, now we've got this owner. Is he just going to plaster himself everywhere? Which to an extent he did, and to an extent he didn't, did he? He did have his advertising everywhere. So it was just another like drawing a line under the last however many years it's been, 20 odd years, and moving on to the next stage now, isn't it? So let's wait and see. Wait for the old United States flag going up on top of the
USA. Lee Anderson, Vicky says, like the Berlin Wall coming down.
Yes, I like that.
Absolutely, it is. It's the end of a shit era. 13 years. Where Marcus Evans put absolutely fuck all into our club, and we paid the price for it. And now I am excited again. And it's not just because there's money in there. It's because we've got owners, I think, that give a shit. And they're excited. And so therefore we're excited. And we're bringing some quality in. Before we were, we've said it before, we were shopping in bagging basement buckets. And now we're not. Now we're going out there and saying, we can pay this, we can offer you this, and people want to come to us. How fucking great is that? Yeah,
it really is. I could never work it. I could never work. Yeah, the end of an era, says Anne.
Well done, Anne.
Stephen Parry. There's posh ad boards with Bud Light on them. Apparently Michael Finch won't be charting USA. Hey, I'll be charting anything they want me to chart if it's promotional for me. Do you know what I fucking mean? I don't care. I'll be charting I'll be singing Hulk Hogan's American Dream if we get promotion. Don't worry about it. Putting the lyrics on me forehead. But I was never work it out how he had his name all plastered all in a bloody stadium. But yet he seemed to be quite okay to be associated with what was a shower of shite on the football pitch. If I had my name on a football stadium and it was producing results that we were producing for the last 13 years, 3 years, wherever we want to sort of snippet of time you want to look at it, I'd be fucking ashamed. I'd be getting my name off that wall pretty quick. Could either of you work out?
It was the sensible approach. There was a lot of stuff that he did that I disagreed with, but in general, I think what he was trying to do, I understood. I just got fed up of it in the last sort of 5 years or so because it wasn't working. There's a saying that I see all the time in the like business people that I sort of like see online, and it's about, if it's not working, the definition of madness is doing the same thing over and over again, even when it isn't working. And that's what Marcus Evans was doing. So I think that he was always trying to be sensible, but it just, that in the end wasn't what we needed. And in football, it wasn't what we needed. I do think part of it comes down to when he took over and the ITV digital thing and everything like that. And football was in a fucking mess when he took us over, and we were as well. And I think when you compare it to how everything went really wrong before and how he did have to come in and change all that, the problem is he never took that next step. So he saved us, he steadied the boat, but he never then pushed it further because he was always too reserved. And I don't particularly begrudge him for it. I think that was always his approach. I just think that we could have done with him pissing off a bit sooner than he did.
I agree with that. Michael Finch says things that's like going to Roland Road and hearing them chant Leeds, Leeds, Leeds. He quickly adds, sorry, what the fuck, Ellen Road. But I prefer Roland Road, Vicky.
I prefer
Definitely.
Roland Road, love it. Colin Plum. 2 friends of mine who are Spurs fans have bought a season ticket. It's good to hear. For Ipswich Town, I imagine Colin means. That's good. That's what you need to start doing, though, isn't it? Right, attracting those sort of fans back. And we had a waiting list in the Premier League. Would you believe? Lee Bayliss.
They're not exactly getting the tickets for the glamour ties, are they?
No. Then again, I think
Morecambe at home.
Well, Tottenham aren't in much of a better shape than we are at the moment. I mean, if they're planned for a manager appointment after Jose, unravelled pretty quick. Lee, Evans was terrible. Over football club was all about this company and not football related. Dennis Edwards, loving the comments. Dennis Evans didn't know how to run a football club and didn't employ anyone who did. Spot on, Vicky.
Yeah.
Isn't that a huge difference here? Like we've had today, Mark Ashton has stepped down from the EFL board.
Yes.
But isn't it at no point did Marcus Evans ever employ anybody with his pedigree? No,
nobody knew what they were doing, really, did they? You know, they were a ship that just was rudderless, really. And a manager who, I'm talking about the last ship manager we had, Lambert. Sorry, but he drove me mad. He just really didn't know what to do, did he? And
no.
Unfortunately, Marcus Evans didn't want to invest, so we were left with the shower of shite that we were.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And now
absolutely.
we've got this whole team that, you know, we've got a director of this and a director of that, and it's the people who are owning bits of their own, you know, that they know. Do you know what I mean? They know that business there, so they're owning that little bit.
Yes.
Yeah, they're taking ownership of the bit they know.
Yeah. The people who are good at that part are doing that part. It's like somebody getting me to do. Actually, I never do Facebook ads because I've never done them. I would always recommend somebody else to do that for a client. Whereas if it's coming up with fun, creative campaign ideas, then not that I'm plugging myself, but do you know what I mean? Like that was what Evans was doing. It was probably but people he knew or whatever, but he was putting them in round pegs, square holes, which was, funny enough, the same problem on the pitch.
Yeah. Well, it's very telling, isn't it, when you go from Mark Ashton, who comes from Bristol City, Vic, that's their first appointment, whereas Marcus Evans' appointments were Clegg, Olympics, but no football, and not football since.
Yeah.
Jonathan Simmons and is it Ian Barrett, I think, something of his name again. They've never been heard or seen in football again. And then Lee O'Neill.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell. We're a million miles away from that now, aren't we? And that just adds to the excitement, really. And I think my personal thoughts is that they have to get it right this season because people are jumping on the excitement. You know, you've got Ed and the shirts, and we're getting recognition out there, and everybody's taking an interest at the moment. That's why if they get it wrong now, I don't think it'd be hard to claw that back. They have to get it right this season with good signings and good appointments. Yeah.
I don't think we necessarily have to be. That's the one. I don't think we necessarily have to be promoted this year. But as we have all said for years, we just want to see signs of progress. And to be honest, they already are. But you're absolutely right, Vicky. It probably won't take long for people to turn because we are fed up of being in League One. We are bored of being the team
and
that
the investment.
Exactly. So I think that we are a very patient fan base, and I don't think that all their efforts they will be recognised this year. But you're absolutely spot on. If they don't keep this momentum going, people are going to get bored and start walking away very quickly, just as they have done before.
The thing is, it does work, doesn't it? It's sort of hand in hand, Vicky. Because if we're sat as fans saying, "Oh, exciting that we're here, we might put £1 million bid in for Crooks." In the same respect, as an owner, when you're sat in November and you spent £1 million on a brand new instrument for the manager and he can't get a tune out of it, you suddenly start saying, "Well, I'll get a new musician who can." Then
exactly.
You're not going to get rid of the player you spent money on, are you?
No. I think there's a lot of pressure on Paul Cook this season, more so than last, because he had the excuse last season that it wasn't his team, it wasn't his choices. He inherited this sack of shit, and he could do nothing with it. Whereas this season, it's all him. This is who he wanted, and he's got to get them to play together. And like I said before, it might take a few weeks for that to happen, and I hope it will do for his sake, because I do like Paul Cook, actually.
Okay. Would you believe it if I told you we are at the end of this week, there'll be a town game and fans will be in attendance? Crazy, eh? It's coming around so quick. Town will play Dartford this Saturday in a pre-season friendly away. Fans will be in attendance. I was hoping to go, but sadly not. So I'll be at the zoo instead for the wife's birthday. Some will say my natural habitat. I don't know. Ipswich Town. But then after that, we're straight into it. So I'm going to Bury on Tuesday. Big TT meetup. So I'm knowing you ladies live too far away for Bury. So sadly, you're not going to be able to make it. But yeah, a game next Tuesday. This time next week, I'll be the eve of me going to a football match for the first time since Coventry at home.
So jealous.
I know. Can't wait. I can't wait. Mr. Ipswich Town, being from the Republic of Ireland, people over here even know how bad Ipswich were run. Always tell me the good times in the 80s and 0-0 noughties. Hopefully, we're on the rise once again. Michael Finch, I think PC will revel in the pressure. He's a no-nonsense guy. Do you, either of you, talk about first games back? Have you got a first game penciled in the diary that you're eyeing?
I would love to be there for the first game. Unfortunately, it's around the same time as my daughter's about to give birth, so I don't think I'm going to make that one.
What, her first?
No, second.
Don't worry about it then, Vic. She's only had one or two. You've been there for that. Don't worry about that.
But I need to get my shift sorted, and then I'll look at which one I'm going to.
Amy?
Mine is Saturday, the 2nd of October at Accrington Stanley.
God,
I'm a long way away.
Well, they have these things for the weddings and things, but you want to bin that and get an app that tells you how long, how many days, how many minutes, how many seconds, how many hours you're away from that
the next
date.
game. Yes, yeah. I love that. I like that. I might well do that. It's 3 months this weekend, so it's a bloody long way away. But I've got enough to be doing without having to worry about trying to get tickets and trying to book trains to get there and God knows what else. So I shall deal with that once I get back from my month-long holiday after the wedding.
You will. Right. It's about high pressure stakes as we close up the show. We have got our fearsome 4, which is now down to fearsome 2. After 3 weeks, this is how the league table is standing for our Euro 2020. I am currently in third. The top 3 places win prizes. I will not win a prize. Okay. So Ben Adams is currently in third. But for transparency and honesty and all that, I'll put myself there just so everyone knows what's going on.
So everyone knows you're doing well. That's what it is.
Fucking 2 right. Yeah, fucking 2 right. Fucking 2 right it is. I'm on a platform with really big opinions and great people. And some of those big opinions and great people, they're in the list if you look very carefully. So if I'm above them, I was sure as hell going to make sure they knew I was above them.
Look at Callie trailing with 3.
I know, Callie. He's not doing it. Matt Fitz on 3. Richard Moss
Neil.
on 6. Neil's done 3.
Russell Claydon, he's a sports journalist.
I know. So for those that haven't done it, you predict the score of a Euro 2020 game. So now it's the 2 semi-finals. It's 3 points for the correct score, 0 points for anything else. So, if you're someone like Russell Claydon, you're not too far away with 3 games to go. Top 3 win prizes. So not a million miles away. Some spot prizes coming into play as well. But the link's in the chat for the next games, which of course are the semi-finals. It's Italy versus Spain and England versus Denmark. So very quickly, ladies, England versus Denmark. What are we thinking ahead of Wednesday's big game? Is it coming home, Vicky?
I'd love it to. Well, I would love it to, obviously, but I'm due to work on Sunday evening, which is fine. And I'm absolutely gutted. I can't get the time off. So I won't see it, whoever's playing. But
I bet you can't watch it while you're at work either, can you, with what you do?
Nah. No. And if England are in that final, regardless of the result, I can guarantee it will be an absolute manic shift. I'm on nights as well, so it'll just be manic all night.
Yeah.
What, because of the alcohol content?
Yeah. People will go mad. Whatever the result. If they win, they'll be happy, but still, put in a few shop windows. And if they lose, there'll be an awful lot more shop windows, I dare say.
Yeah, for sure.
We shouldn't laugh, but it is, especially after everybody being locked down for so long as well.
Yeah.
The Euros has turned out to be exactly what we wanted it to be. It's been a nice chance to, although actually I haven't gone out with mates other than this Saturday, but it's been a nice chance to just go and sit back down a pub and be with other people and celebrate a game, hasn't it? It's been really nice.
It's been nice. But is it coming home?
The other thing that I worry about is...
No, go on, Vicky.
Oh, I was just going to say the other thing is that these big tournaments tend to have a story behind them, don't they? you know, like the Grand National and things like that. It's always got a story, whereas Denmark have got the story with Ericsson, haven't they? So I'm kind of not trying to think that, and I'm going to go for 2-0 England.
Although you could say the Gareth Southgate penalty miss,
Yeah.
Euro 96 anniversary, back at Wembley. You could, there is a story there that if you know, you could tell.
I think you make your own story, don't you? And I think that's what our team are doing. They've, you know, you've got players there who've had abuse, who've stood up to people not wanting them to take the knee. Gareth has just, I've absolutely loved all his pre-tournament stuff. It's just really, I've just really felt like I get behind him. I love him. I really like him. I think he's been a great choice. He's just been so much more us than any of the other previous managers. You know, you forget about your Sven-Goran Eriksson and all of those now, don't you? That they even existed. Because Gareth was always the right choice.
He doesn't live too far from me.
Oh, doesn't he?
Yeah.
How funny.
Yeah.
I think that for him, I would love to see us at least get to the final. I don't think I'm quite yet allowing myself to believe that it's possible that we'll win it, but definitely would like to see us get to the final, and suspect that my throat will be 10 times worse in 48 hours because it's still hurting from Saturday.
Absolutely. I think Southgate sort of models a lot of his management sort of style on Terry Venables, who was obviously his 96 manager for England and obviously had the famous Hong Kong situation, and he collectively made it about us. You know, we take responsibility. It's we. Yeah. And that's, a lot of Southgate is about we and the collective more than the individual. And another good manager was
what was that line he said to them about you have the power to make memories for these people. It isn't just about you on the pitch. This is you making memories for the whole country. And I was just like, you are absolutely spot on. Because it is, which none of us have been able to go and see a club we love, and this has been a chance for us all to pull together and enjoy something. And I have enjoyed it, despite saying this time a week ago that I was enjoying Wimbledon more, which I was, to be fair. Andy Murray's been great. I've been really loving it.
I was until Murray crashed out, and then my interest went with it.
That's true. That is true.
Got no interest in watching Djokovic and Federer battle out for the
Rump it again.
time. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm right. Colin Plum, 2-0 England, 3-1 in the final. Lee thinks we're just simply better. Julian took England subs bench could win it. Colin Plum, the crowd will see us home now. I had 2 friends who went to the Germany game and they said it was electric in Wembley Stadium. And to end the show, Lee Anderson, win nothing under Southgate according to Cruncher, be wrong.
Never, I don't believe it.
Well, it remains to be seen. But Vicky,
you need
Amy,
to find the clip of him saying that and make sure you've got it ready.
Well, Lee obviously has been listening to it or has it on memory. So Lee, let me know where and when it was, and I'll make sure that we can run through it about 1,000 times over the next season when he's saying he's gonna be right. We love you, Crunch, very dearly. But we're done, ladies. It's been a fantastic evening with you both. An hour is just like that yet again. And here's hoping the next time we all sit down together we'll talk about a few signings, maybe Matt Crooks, maybe Burson Selena. Who knows? But football will definitely be back.
Maybe even a Euro win.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But honestly, next time we sit down together, us three, we will have games that Town have played to talk about.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Everything's getting back to normal. It's all getting back in there, isn't it?
See you next time.